2011 Bonner Springs Braves entered the season with some questions. They were introducing new coach Lucas Aslan, and while 2010 was successful, a bitter taste was left behind in a loss to Gardner. The reason for optimism can be attributed to the return of two productive juniors in Jonathan Jackson and Steve Williams. Bonner started their season off at home. Let's check out the highlights of Topeka Seaman versus Bonner Springs. Victory is always sweet. Getting the season off to a 1-0 start was real important. The Bonner Springs Braves were going to be facing three tough opponents in their next three matchups, the first of which was a trip to Mill Valley. Let's see how it went. Mill Valley proved to be a very tough opponent. They exposed Bonner a little bit through the air, but still Bonner's defense showed good signs of aggressiveness and getting sacks and scoring for a second consecutive game on defense. Jonathan Jackson had his first 100-yard game, and Steve Williams again had a touchdown. Averaging just 250 yards a game, Bonner didn't get any favors having Turner come into town the next week. After the loss to Turner, Bonner was 1-2. With 242 yards of offense, Coach Aslan made a tough decision. He decided to bring in sophomore quarterback Jordan Jackson. Let's listen to the call of the highlights of Basehor versus Bonner Springs. It was a family affair at Basehor Friday night as Bonner Springs came to visit the undefeated Bobcats. Jordan Jackson got the start for Bonner Springs and quickly made his presence felt, kicking it into third gear on his 30-yard touchdown run. Here, the young sophomore shows off his arm with a 35-yard pass to senior Steve Williams, setting up the Braves deep in Basehor territory. The kid played some defense as well, breaking up a pass early in the first quarter. If you get in trouble, Mama said look for your big brother. Showing some presence in the pocket, he finds brother Jonathan along the sideline. One of my favorite players in KCK is Jonathan Jackson. Here he takes it in from 2 yards, and boy did he come to play tonight. This, boys and girls, is how you take the handoff, make one move, and go. Jonathan burst down the sideline for a 42-yard touchdown run, and he was not done yet. Because we're going the other way, sliding, bobbing, weaving his way for another 42-yard touchdown run, his third of the night. This night, however, belonged to the Murphys. Colin, twin brother of Ryan, connects with Ben Johnson on a jump ball for his first touchdown of the night. It worked from 5, so why not 23 as Johnson again beats the defense for his second touchdown. Johnson 11 catches for 180 and change, and his third touchdown pass. No, that was not the same play from earlier. Colin is definitely impressive to watch as he takes this busted screen 33 yards for a touchdown. Throwing this 2-yard touchdown, and his 4 passing and 2 rushing touchdown night was over. And Basehor Linwood rolls 69-26. Bonner Springs was definitely game, but the Basehor Linwood Bobcats are definitely a strong contender this year for the 4A crown. Despite the blowout loss, there were signs of life from Jonathan Jackson, which would prove over the next few weeks to be priceless. Let's check out the call of the Tongi versus Bonner game. Tonganoxie versus Bonner Springs. Homecoming for the Braves. Let's see if Tongi's willing to play spoiler tonight. Jordan Jackson got his second consecutive start, leading the Braves on an 11-play, 68-yard drive. where he went 4 for 4, his key play to Mason Roberts. After a quick punt, the Tonganoxie defense definitely had to step up, and they did here with a big sack. Bonner's defense says, well, what you can do, I can do better. As we see here, Drew Hearn picks up the fumble and goes 42 yards for the touchdown. Garrett Elston here responds on a 21-yard touchdown pass to Leland Davis to make the score 12-6. On the ensuing kickoff, Tongi shoots a directional punt down the left side, and we got to pick up the ball. Pick up the ball. No. Recovered by Tonganoxie, who quickly pushes it in with another Elston touchdown from 1 yard out, bringing the score to 13-12. Now, I don't know what was said at halftime, but I think it had something to do about getting the ball to the seniors. Here you see Steve Williams take the bubble screen and move in from 37 yards out in a touchdown. And here comes Jonathan Jackson, who was the question and the answer tonight as he scores 5 touchdowns. And the blocking was fantastic, and Jonathan took full advantage, definitely putting himself in the Player of the Year candidacy in Kansas City, Kansas. And hats off to the Bonner Springs defense, who shut out Tonganoxie in the second half, and Bonner takes it 48-13. Watch out for Jordan Jackson, who was 8 for 8, 175 yards and a touchdown. Now 2-3, Bonner had to go on the road where they would be a heavy favorite against Ward. Let's check out the highlights. After the blowout victory, Bonner was now 3-3. The offense was now in full stride with Jordan Jackson taking over. Jonathan Jackson was a legit contender for the Player of the Year in Kansas City, Kansas. Steve Williams was also playing real well, and we were headed into district play where we had a great matchup between Javion Browning and Jonathan Jackson. Let's take a look at the preview as well as the highlights for the matchup. Are you ready?